So it's really awesome to be here. It's also slightly terrifying because I've been here all weekend and you guys are absolutely incredibly amazing. And this is very much, as Andrew gave us permission to do, which is kind of a work in progress showing of all the foibles of this project. I'm a choreographer by trade. And originally that was really mainstream, musical theatre. And about 5 years ago, I started working at a space in Bristol called the Pervasive Media Studio, and I completely changed every aspect of my work. And I now run an augmented dance company. And we specialise entirely in fusing movement and technology together. We create interactive installations, big spectacle shows, and do loads of consultancy work. So this is the beginning of this is the roots of our new show that we've been developing, which has come out of 4 or 5 years' work with a key set of collaborators, and a really interesting recurring riff, which was about, can you compose choreography, and can you choreograph composition? And what's that interrelationship there? Okay. So our LED snood that we showed you earlier is not working, but something else we're going to do in a bit is. So that's what Phill was going, that's not going to work. I'm going to keep these tracks short and sweet, but I'm going to show you lots of different things, hopefully. I'm going to do that because there is an awesome jam to happen. And I figured it's 10 o'clock, and that's probably a good way to go. We started this project really simply by making a system which hopefully, if the sound is on your end, if not, turned it off on my end. No? Okay.
Feet. My. These are. These are. These. These are my shoes. These are. Feet are my. Feet. These are my feet. These are feet. Shoes are these my feet. 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 My feet. My these feet. My shoes are feet. Feet. These are my these my feet. Feet. Shoes. These my feet. These are feet. Feet. My shoes. My these feet. My feet. Shoes. Feet. Feet.
So having made a system that allowed us to make pretty much any floor make music, we tried so many really expensive contact mics and floor mics and everything else, and we ended up coming back around to $2.99 guitar pickup mics, which is hilarious. But there's a real contradiction with things like this, that sometimes there is a real barrier for an audience to understand what's going on. Because tap's normally really, really fast. Sound is a really ethereal thing that appears and disappears. So I set myself the challenge of making a wireless, fully reactive LED dress. Because I thought it'd be good to demonstrate and see the sound. Those who saw our mad hack entry with the fantastic Phill, who's hiding, saw that kind of like some of the sound analysis stuff we're looking at. This is actually the old prototype of the dress. The actual dress and the skirt are as they're going to be. And if I find the cable, which I tucked in here, I should be on the board and just to give you a riff with some shoes. But hopefully, if I just do this, and I haven't broken it, yeah. So there was a really interesting problem with making a fully reactive LED dress, because all the LED dresses out there have thousands of LEDs on them. They're all designed for doing linear, really linear long form and animations and things that look like the original images. And actually what we're trying to do is represent layers of sound, and it's something much more abstract. Also, if you wear the number of LEDs that these dresses have, I'm basically wearing enough power to run a defibrillator. And bear in mind, I'm dancing. I get quite hot and sweaty whilst I'm dancing. And there's a very high likelihood of breakages as a result because I'm moving all over the place in my whole body. This was an exceptionally bad idea. So we had to find another way of being able to use fewer LEDs but magnify the light. So this bass dress, and is it easy to take down the overheads for a second? It's the magic button that nobody knows because it's in the wrong language. Basically, this bass dress is made out of high-vis material. And what we've done is we've rigged the LEDs so they're actually on a translucent underskirt, which means actually as the dress moves and as I move, the directional manner in which you relate to the light changes dramatically because sometimes it's very close, sometimes it's long form away. Sometimes as I'm spinning, you're seeing lines of light created by the LEDs just by the fact of the recurring spinning motion. And it gives us a massive more freedom about how we play in that field. And the Mad Snood was kind of like a look at how some of that sound analysis might look like. But going on to something a little bit different. The other thing we did was, because I do like to set myself challenges, is I made a fully wireless controller. Now, I'm not a programmer, and I'm also pretty shoddy at soldering because I have really shaky hands. But hey, this is the beta prototype. We're making the new version at the moment, which is beautiful. Because actually, as I'm dancing, being stuck to the computer was a nightmare because it means I'm really limited and I'm having to return to it. And actually, dancing live, I want to be able to change samples mid-move, and I want to be able to loop. So on the floor here, we've got just two really simple mics, which I can use just dynamically as the live mics, so we can do things like this. Just pressed all the wrong buttons, as you do. Things like that. So, taking it one step further, and I'm going to have a small sip of water. So, what I did very badly there, is change between samples. And we've made it so I'm actually getting LED feedback from Ableton Live, so I know whether or not I've successfully actually pressed the button, which is really useful, because these buttons have actually quite a lot of too much freedom of movement in them. So, that's all well and dandy. What I can also do is hopefully, if I've done this, is play around with laying down really simple loops. So all the things we've seen so far have been playing around with the live sound. So we've done things using the open mics and how we process the sounds. We've done things where we turn the mics into completely different instruments, including feet, as well as spoken word. So this is looking at how we take this a step further when I turn it on successfully. See? So just go straight back to the bare taps. And come out of loops like that. We then start doing really silly things because possibly all of this might be really silly. So I'm a total fan. I'm just going to turn my gain down just a fraction for this one. There's a really British institution, which is the shipping forecast. I love the shipping forecast. Like, stupidly so. So we started playing ideas with kind of like what's the relationship with voice and almost the beat style poetry and everything that came out of the jazz movement where, of course, tap normally lives. So you might end up with something weird like this. This is the shipping forecast issued at 0000 hours on Friday, the 28th of May, 2015. The general situation is good. There is an anticyclone front moving in from the Atlantic, imminent. Sea area, Viking. Water 3. Sea state, calm Visibility good. Becoming poor later. Finish stair. Three to four. Imminent. See areas Viking. There is a expected a severe Isle of Wight, Dover to Plymouth Sounds. General situation here is good. Sea state slight, weather conditions fine, visibility good. Land road. And then that is the end of the next forecast. Sorry, shouldn't laugh at my own silliness. I kind of do. So this is Phill too. I must actually say I've missed three really important credits. This project is the sum of many of us. I've been working with a fantastic composer called Lee J. Malcolm. He's the composer for a band called The Vespa, and he's a quite big techno DJ. And he, unfortunately, is recording an album this weekend, so couldn't come and play. Phill, too, is a fantastic visual artist and coder who builds interactive installations, and we've worked together a lot in the past. And almost. And he's going to be working with me to develop how all the LEDs dynamic respond in this kind of abstract scenario. This weekend, strangely enough, is Phill and a friend of his, Luke Oren, who's a fantastic illustrator based in the southwest of the UK, have been working on a game with this most amazing island landscape. And the thing about the island landscape is that it fits, skyscape, sorry, is that it really fits one of the soundscapes that Lee J. Malcolm and I have been working on. So what we've done is we've made it react to layers of sound as I make it. So I'm now going to try to jam with a dynamic visualization. All going well. Have you got? I'm on that screen. It's going. Amazing. Thank you. Can I go down a tad for this? Just going to say I'm in completely the wrong soundscape. We've had this one already, haven't we? That's why it feels really weird. Okay, let's try that again. I was like, why does this not sound like I'd expect it to sound like? Because you're not playing the right music, Laura. That's what happens at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. That's better. I'm going to leave it there. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. Well, I've got... Oh, I did hit space. It's fading. Yeah. One final thing, which I will show you, which goes the other direction entirely. So one of the first tracks that Lee and I made entirely together was a techno tap track. Now, never in my life did I think that was going to be one of the things that I was going to make. But genuinely, I love it. And I love that's the fact that we can come out of kind of collaborating with people and actually really allowing all your styles to merge together. I'm going to do a version of it now. I'm not going to do the same version as I normally do because he's not here, and he normally riffs in all these drum beats and some awesome fades and a whole load of beautiful dynamic stuff. So this will be a little bit more square. And I'm going to want to be a little bit closer to myself, hopefully. I love the way I can't remember what I'm supposed to do now. That. Yeah, that'll be okay. That's because I didn't go to all mute, and that would have been a lot easier to get on the board. And only when his eyes smile do I realize I'm in the wrong key. Let's try that again. Yeah, that would have been really awful in a second. Okay, we'll try there instead. And only when his eyes smile do I realize he heard my heart. Mesa. Eyes I realize sounds of my heart. When I am happy, I sing songs to you. Songs I don't know the endings of. Songs that unravel in me. And only when your eyes smile do I realize you hurt my heart. That's it. Thank you very much.